On the 10th day of the Islamic month of Muharram, a small group of about 72 men and their families faced an army of thousands on the burning plains of Karbala. What happened that day is known as one of the greatest tragedies in history. But if you only know about the final battle, you're missing a huge part of the story. The real tale of sacrifice, impossible decisions, and powerful belief was written in the 10 days before any swords were drawn. This is what really happened in the days leading up to Ashura. So, how did it get to this point? The story begins after the death of the ruler Muawiyah. His son, Yazid, took power and demanded that everyone pledge loyalty to him. Imam Hussain, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, refused. He simply could not support a leader he saw as corrupt and unjust. At the same time, he received many letters from people in Kufa, begging him to come and lead them. Knowing the danger, Hussain set off for Kufa with his family and closest followers. But his journey was cut short. On the second day of Muharram, his group was stopped by 1,000 soldiers led by a commander named Hur ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. Hur's orders weren't to attack, but to stop Hussain from reaching Kufa or going back home. He led them to a dry, empty desert plain called Karbala. It's said that when Imam Hussain heard the name of the land, he knew it was their final stop, calling it a place of grief and trial. The next day, things got even worse. On the 3rd of Muharram, a huge army of 4,000 soldiers arrived, led by Umar ibn Sa'd. Ibn Sa'd didn't want to fight the Prophet's grandson, but the governor gave him a choice: fight Hussain or be stripped of his own powerful title. Suddenly, the small camp of Hussein's family and friends was completely surrounded. For the next few days, the tension was unbearable. Imam Hussain and Umar ibn Sa'd tried to negotiate. Hussain made it clear he wanted to avoid a fight and just be allowed to leave in peace. Some stories say that Ibn Sa'd passed this message to the governor, who might have considered it. But other accounts say the governor was firm, demanding that Hussain pledge his loyalty to Yazid, something Hussain would never do. Then, on the 7th of Muharram, a new order came down, and everything changed. The army blocked all access to the nearby Euphrates River. They cut off Hussein's camp from their only source of water. For 3 painful days, the men, women, and even the young children in the camp suffered from terrible thirst in the blistering desert heat. This changed the situation from a political standoff to a humanitarian crisis. The sounds of children crying for water became one of the most heartbreaking parts of the entire tragedy. As the days passed, more soldiers arrived, making the army facing Hussein's small group overwhelmingly large. All hope for a peaceful way out was gone. On the 9th of Muharram, a day known as Tasu'a, the army advanced with a final offer: surrender or be destroyed. Imam Hussain asked for just one more night for prayer and reflection, and his request was granted. That night, the eve of Ashura, was a powerful moment of spiritual strength. In a famous scene, Hussain brought his followers together, put out all the lamps, and told them they were free to go. He said the army only wanted him, and that they could escape in the darkness to save their own lives, but not one person left. Instead, they all stood up and promised to stay and protect him and his family until their last breath. It was a night of sad goodbyes, deep prayers, and quiet preparation for what was to come. If you believe stories of standing up for what's right need to be shared, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. On the 10th of Muharram, the day of Ashura, the battle finally happened. Imam Hussain and his companions fought with incredible courage, but they were hopelessly outnumbered. By the end of the day, he and most of his male followers were killed, their bodies left on the field of Karbala. The events of Karbala are about much more than a single day of fighting. The 10 days before the battle tell a story of failed negotiations, growing cruelty, and heartbreaking choices. It's the story of a stand for principles, not for land or power. Today, the memory of Karbala is a central part of Shia Islam, where believers mourn the tragedy every year. For many Sunni Muslims, it's a deeply sad story that commands respect for the Prophet's family, though views on the event can differ. Ultimately, the story of those 10 days has become a timeless symbol of courage against tyranny, a lesson in sacrifice that still echoes today.